Hi, I'm Shon LeBlanc. I am the costume designer for My Fair Lady here at Ashland Opera. When I first talked to Daniel about his concepts for the show, it was very exciting because his idea was this is not the old 1950s My Fair Lady. This was a My Fair Lady for the 21st century. And wanting it to be a little darker, a little edgier, a little more interesting. Our lead in the show, Higgins, is not just a linguist, he's an artist. So he is a little more bohemian. This is going to be our Higgins. And as you can see, it's a kimono that we've added to this, which is very much sort of a period type garment for someone to wear. Very big at the turn of the century. His colors are purple, so a lot of great purple. We actually built his shirts and his vest for this. So we got 3 shirts built, got several vests made for the show. They're very rich, they're very interesting. There's a bit of sexiness to them. They're open, they're gonna have open collars and things on them. So it's very in the idea of like Lord Byron or Oscar Wilde or something. It's a lot of texture on texture on texture, pattern and things, which I think makes the show very rich and very deep. You will note that there really isn't any tweed in the show, and that's the catchphrase. There's no tweed in the show. It's not that My Fair Lady. And our analogy in this is that Eliza is a butterfly coming out of a cocoon, and around her there are spiders trying to catch the butterfly. So you're going to see spider web motif, you're going to see butterfly motifs, you're going to see dragonflies, very Art Nouveau kind of feel to it, flowery kind of things. So it's sort of like a garden effect. So this is one of Eliza's dresses. You're seeing a little wrinkle. We haven't steamed it out at the theater yet, but this is going to be the end dress that she wears in the show at Mrs. Higgins' house. And part of the issue is I wanted a butterfly on this, so I've added a big butterfly brooch, and it's in full gossamer glory. The wings are spread. It's ready to go there. She's taken flight. The butterfly has come out of the cocoon, and that's part of what this show is, and especially her journey. I'll also show you some of the spiderweb motif. This is Mrs. Pierce. You can see we have this great spiderweb motif on her in the skirt. It's a great fabric, and it's subtle enough, I think the audience will pick up on it and get kind of the gist of, oh, isn't that interesting? The deep burgundies and the blacks and stuff, so it makes it kind of fun. One of the things about 1906 is that the British Empire is still in full bloom, and one of the things that I wanted to do personally was show that at the embassy ball. So we have an Indian ball gown in the English style. So it's sort of a sari, and the dress is made out of completely saris and all the Indian stuff, real Indian jewelry, but it's in the idea of what a British ball gown would look like. It's an interpretation, and we do that on a couple of things for the Chinese dress, for the African dress, so they are ethnic ball gowns in the English style, as it were. The lavender gown, it's an English ball gown, and it's quite a lovely piece. It should sparkle really lovely on stage, and very different, but they're quite, elaborate in their own ways. You're also going to see some of the male ambassadors dressed as well. We have a sultan, we have the African ambassador in full dress. It's very exciting. And these ball gowns were all created for the show. There's about 8 to 10 ball gowns we created for this, including the Queen of Transylvania. Okay, so this is the gown we're doing for Kate. And as you can see, it has a slight spider-webbed motif on this. Sort of a Art Nouveau idea of a spider web. All in silver. There are little sparkle sequins in it. Then she has big, massive rhinestone brooches and necklaces and tiaras, and a big gray baldric that goes across her. So she's all in silvers and rhinestone, and it's the only color like this on stage. So we really singled her out to make her stand out as the Queen of Transylvania. This display is kind of a microcosm of the show. We kind of put this together to represent several things that are happening in the production. We have part of this down here that gives us the ball. There are fans, there are velvet slippers, things like that, beaded handbags. It gives us a feel of, oh, that's the ball kind of feel we're going to have with this. some of the hats, the red, the white, some others on this side, these are ascot hats. And they're kind of silly and over the top, which is part of Daniel's concept, is he wanted the aristocracy to be a little more heightened, a little more, when you looked at them, it was like, these people are kind of crazy. These people are a little eccentric. And we sort of have done that with birds and feathers and flowers and so forth. On this side, we actually have some men's shoes. I have a few pair of these we're using in the show. They're the high button shoes, spatted boot of the period, kind of nice. We have a few of these in ascot. They kind of add to the feel of what ascot is. We have a lot of spats. We have some grays, some reds, probably our little red colors. These three hats were also created for ascot. Again, very over the top with the feathers, and there's crystals, and there's birds, and wonderfulness in the show that when you see it, it's like a cacophony of, we had everything, we just kind of put it on our hat because it was there. Normally they would just be like black and white hats, but since we have added the gray and the red into it to pop the number a little more heightened, we have some red hats, we have red trim, we have some gray trim, we have gray gloves and red gloves and spats that are gray and spats that are red. And I think it's going to be a more interesting textorial kind of element on stage. When you see it, you'll be able to go, oh, there's depth to this. And I think that's important. My general hope is that they've gone and they've enjoyed what they're seeing, that they see beautiful costumes, or let me say appropriate costumes for the show, and that they understand they're character-based. My hope is that people will like the work and will, giggle at things and go, oh my God, that was amazing, and appreciate the amount of time and effort it took to create them.